Hello, welcome back. Here we are on the fly. So today we're going to do a quickie if we can. This one will be Priesthoods and Bloodlines, Tier 3, 1, 2, 3, right here, of the World Hierarchy Pyramid by the great artist Dylan Louis Monroe. In case it hasn't been obvious, I'm reading from his summary, and this comes with every purchase of this particular layout. I don't know if this is available with the PDF. You'll have to check into that. But every physical purchase of this, whether it's the small size or the large size, you get one of these. It's a great summary. And also, 99% of the videos I post on any given topic, they'll have a lot of links in the description box below the video. Links pertaining to further elaboration of points raised during the video, links to websites, to books, to other videos, and so on. All right, let's get started. Priesthoods and Bloodlines. Who curates the mind control exerted over the most powerful cults in the world? Very good question. The priesthoods, they are the curators. The leaders of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Of course, this is the Western world that Dylan is talking about because that's what he's more familiar with. The Eastern part is a whole other different cast of characters and groups. There are older cults preceding these. That is, there are older cults preceding the leaders of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, priesthoods. And these older cults were studied. These older cults were studied by adepts, well schooled in the dark arts. Because remember, there's the old idea that the king is anointed from on high. So the king is God's representative on earth. And by extension, they moved that out to the Pope as well, and other positions of influence within the hierarchies of military and religion. So, let me read this one more time. The leaders of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, these are the curators of the mind control exerted over the most powerful cults in the world. Remember, a cult dictionary definition. I'm on the clock, so I'm rushing it. Woke up, got out of bed, dragged the comb, across my head. Memoirs of Billy Shears, shout out, check it out. It's in my video content. It covers a lot of this. Billy goes all over the place in his 666 book tome. There are older cults preceding, for a king is believed to be anointed by God, and ancient priest kings were studied adepts in the dark arts. The dark arts, their emphasis is dominance, control, exploitation. They're not really much about sharing the wealth. Covens of warlocks and witches lurk in the darkest shadows of the royal ranks. Up here, warlocks and witches, masters of witchcraft. Now we should be fair and say there's white magic and black magic. Of course, the white magic is the enlightened magic, how to serve the good, how to serve the greater good. for the highest and best. That's what I'm interested in, whatever name it may take. Titles of nobility are a prerequisite to hold any authority in navigating humanity. So to be an influential social engineer in any of these categories, well, mainly at the top, right? He's talking mainly the upper ones. You have to have a blood lineage going back. You have to be part of that. That's really what all this is based on. They derive their power from the ancient blood lineages. In other words, they've been in business a long time. And every generation they're consolidating power, authority, and perfecting their mind control, dark witchcraft. I recently had a discussion with a family member along these lines, not specifics, but in general, right? Who controls the world type conversation. And he was actually uncomfortable that I kept using the word they, talking about those who exercise the dark control over the masses. My guess, this is my impression at the time, he was interpreting it as hate speech. Hate speech. Figure that. But I get it. This is how the propaganda has affected the minds of even the best and brightest. They, the best and brightest, hear you calling out the dark controllers, even by name. And they get uncomfortable. They think it's hate speech. Go figure. If you say, Satan, I see you, I see what you're doing, for example, why would anyone get uncomfortable over that? Because they've been indoctrinated and they do not even know it, no matter how bright they are. Excuse me, that's the reality of it. Of course, one man's opinion right here, but that's how I see it. I think many will understand what I'm saying. There is a degree of contested supremacy between the Jesuit Venetian, Islamic, and Asian Dragon royal factions. So Asian Dragon, that's more east, so Dylan knows something about them, probably more than I do. But he's pointing out how, these folks, they've learned how to work with their dark alliances to get what they each want for the short term and long term. But of course, they have disagreements. Sometimes blood is spilled in hammering out those disagreements between the dark controllers. Probably they don't even mind, because all in all, you could say about the dark controllers, they're in a category of death cults. So they don't mind blood. In fact, they love blood in all its forms, from the tiny infants, yeah, you know what I'm talking about there, a lot of you, to the wars they manipulate and orchestrate, to all other sorts of mass sheddings of human blood, and animals for that matter. They're not content with just drawing human blood. So again, we don't want to find ourselves in a position of hatred for these dark controllers. That will not serve us, that will not serve them. But we need to understand who is who and what's what, for clarity's sake. On the Truth Tour San Diego June 2023 video, whose link I've posted, which will take you to the Rumble full 10-hour plus recording of that day's event, you will note in the timestamps Michael Jaco at about 7 hours and 8 minutes. It's in the timestamps. And he is ex-Navy SEAL. Some of you probably know of him. So he's a warrior, or a former warrior. Well, once a warrior, always a warrior, right? So he knows the business of spilling blood face to face, right? But his presentation that day was 37 minutes on sending the love vibration. So if we find ourselves in a position of hatred for these dark controllers, we don't want to stay there. We want to move actually to forgiveness. Seriously. But as I stated, forgiveness does not mean forgetting. We don't forget what they've done or what they're capable of doing, but we forgive in the interest of moving on, of healing, of shedding further light into the situation. Because to hold grudges of any sort in the negative will only hold humanity back in our ongoing evolution, our inner evolution, and outer for that matter. So, that's probably all I want to say for now. I will find relevant links to post for these third tier priesthoods and bloodlines. I don't have any off the top of my head at the moment. Thanks again. Keep the faith. We have the numbers. We just have to keep waking up. And then your whole house of cards will fall down from our non-compliance. It's not a revolution of violence. It's a revolution of conscious non-compliance. If enough of us say, excuse me, dark controllers, I'm not going along with the program, as we witnessed in March 2020 and earlier regarding that situation, it never would have happened if enough people had realized this is not what they're telling us, right? On the face, in the arms, scam, big time. And I'm probably preaching to much of the choir here. All right, on that note, got to get to work. Woke up, got out of bed, dragged the comb across my head, found my way downstairs, but I didn't have a smoke. I had a cup of tea, English tea. Thank you very much.